And then what did you make of Sophie Cunningham's flagrant foul on JC towards the end?
It was a flagrant foul.
Do you think it's like defending Caitlyn or defending the team, or how do you view just how it all?
I view it as a flagrant foul.
I'll ask about the game too.
Yeah, well, I mean, you guys came for basketball.
Yeah,
Let's talk about basketball.
Yeah.
Come on now.
What do you think of just how you all were able to pull away in the second half, Caitlyn, in particular?
We're going to the Commissioner Cup Championship.
Let's
That's
go!
pretty exciting. Y'all want to talk about that? Let's talk about that.
Caitlyn Clark is revolutionizing women's basketball. She's shattered records, packed arenas, and brought millions of new eyes to the game. So why is it that the league she's elevated seems to be failing her? Why is she constantly targeted? And why do the officials look the other way? Tonight, we're exposing the unspoken war being waged against the league's biggest star and the unexpected hero who finally said, enough is enough.
Stop playing with this girl. And I'm telling you, the only reason Caitlyn Clark have statues in the WNBA right now because she's white. It was dominated by black women in a black league that they want to mirror the NBA. But unfortunately, them white girls, they got an extra, they got an extra 3-point finger or something. Because this girl has done 565 games. She only played 45 games, and she's one away from tying the WNBA record. WNBA record. This is her second season. And you put the numbers together, that's like 10 seasons. That girl did it in 10 seasons. That means she had won a season. Caitlyn Clark is... when Caitlyn Clark gets to 10 seasons, she's going to have 100 of these.
Let's be brutally honest. The league doesn't deserve Caitlyn Clark. They've been handed the most transcendent talent women's basketball has ever seen, a player who single-handedly elevated their entire organization from obscurity to mainstream relevance. She's bringing in millions of new fans, shattering viewership records, and driving broadcast rights through the roof. Yet, how do they repay her? By allowing their referees to turn a blind eye while opposing players treat her like a punching bag, game after game, season after season. It's an infuriating pattern that has left fans screaming for intervention.
Courtney, if somebody ever tackles you like that...
Nobody would ever tackle me like that. They would play with Bridget like that, and then we would have to, take it up there.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying?
But I'm just saying...
Nobody would ever play with me like
if that ever happened, you better crash out behind me. Because I'm crashing out behind you. We can share the same jail cell. Yeah, bro.
Oh my gosh, bro. Our team would crash, bro, because they would play with somebody that's not even
Yeah, it was just part of the game. I think the refs had a lot to do with that. It was a build-up for a couple of years now of them just not protecting, the star player of the WNBA. And so at the end of the day, I'm going to protect my teammates. That's what I do.
Deserves to have people kind of go at her because she's a trash talker. Okay, if that is the logic. But the media are now saying Caitlyn Clark brings everything on herself. And by the way, Caitlyn Clark, if you want to say JC Sheldon getting in her face and everything until the eye gouge, nobody brings eye gouges on themselves. This is the same as, she brings it on herself with the push-off. Just call the hand check and the push-off doesn't happen. Do we not understand the sport of basketball?
The breaking point arrived in the highly anticipated clash against the Connecticut Sun. You saw the highlights, or rather, the lowlights. JC Sheldon poked Clark in the eye during the third quarter. Instead of the officials stepping in to control the escalating situation, they inexplicably let Marina Mabrey blindside Clark, knocking her to the ground with a vicious shove. The officials, they handed out a few meaningless technical fouls and then called it a day. It was a clear message: rough up Clark and you'll barely face a consequence. But one player on the court was watching and she'd had enough. And what happened next would shock everyone.
All right, enough is enough. At some point, the line gets crossed too often where something needs to be done and things need to be corrected. And that is certainly the case with the way things around Caitlyn Clark are officiated. This is a constant problem now. It is something that since the beginning, I've kind of backed off on because physical play is a part of sports. Going after a superstar and trying to rough them up a little bit to get in their head is a part of sports. But when it crosses the line, the referees need to do their jobs. They need to do their jobs, blow the whistle, and officiate properly.
I'll ask about the game too.
Yeah, well, I mean, you guys came for basketball.
Yeah,
Let's
no,
talk
seriously.
about basketball.
Yeah.
Come on now.
What do you think of just how you all were able to pull in the second half, Caitlyn, in
We're
particular?
going to the Commissioner Cup Championship.
Let's
That's
go!
pretty exciting. Y'all want to talk about that? Let's talk about that.
One player on the court, a recent trade acquisition from Phoenix, watched her teammate get targeted. She saw the refs fail in their most basic duty, and she decided, right then and there, enough was enough. With less than a minute left in the game, she wrapped up Sheldon on a fast break and took her to the ground. It was a clear, unambiguous message. If the league won't protect Caitlyn Clark, her teammates will. The result? She was immediately ejected, but in that moment, she transformed into one of the most celebrated teammates in all of sports, finally standing up for the league's biggest star after months of relentless targeting.
7K to more than 800K TikTok followers. When I tell you, man, TikTok truly do be showing love, man. TikTok truly do be showing love. But when I say, hey, Sophie, look, I wasn't familiar with your game, especially that little savviness, that tenacity that you got. But shawty, I'm a fan.
The aftermath was a seismic shift. While the league's officiating faced widespread condemnation, the popularity of the player who stood up for Clark exploded. Before that game, she had under 400,000 followers on TikTok. Within days of her heroic stand, she skyrocketed to over 1.2 million. Her Instagram similarly blew up, gaining over 300,000 new followers. Her jersey sales went through the roof. Why? Because fans finally saw someone willing to have Caitlyn Clark's back. They were tired of witnessing the clear double standard. Clark gets hammered and barely gets a foul call, while those who protect her are immediately tossed. This was a clear signal to the league. The fans are watching, and they demand accountability.
What's going on with the chip? Is there and what explanation were you given for the tech that you got?
I'll take the official questions. There wasn't an explanation for the tech that she got. You know, I think it was pretty obvious that stuff was brewing, right? When the officials don't get control of the ball game, when they allow that stuff to happen, and it's been happening all season long. All season long. It's not just this game. It's been happening all season long. This is what happens, right? This is what happens. You've got competitive women who are the best in the world at what they do, right? And when you allow them to play physical and you allow these things to happen, they're going to compete. And they're going to have their teammates' backs. It's exactly what you expect, right? Out of fierce competition. So I started talking to the officials in the first quarter, and we knew this was going to happen. You could tell it was going to happen. So they got to get control of it. They got to be better. They got to be better.
Amidst the chaos, Caitlyn Clark's post-game press conference provided a glimpse into her profound frustration. When the media, fixated on the altercations and ejections, pressed her about the drama, Clark responded with palpable exasperation. "You guys came for basketball? Let's talk about basketball. Come on now. We're heading to the Commissioner Cup Championship. That's pretty exciting. Y'all want to talk about that? Let's talk about that." Think about that for a moment. She had just dropped 20 points, 6 assists, and 4 three-pointers in a dominant win that sent her team to the Commissioner Cup final. Yet, all anyone wanted to discuss was the drama and the cheap shots she endured. She's trying to celebrate basketball excellence, but every post-game interview turns into a referendum on player safety because the league's officiating is so incompetent. Her frustration wasn't just justified, it was long overdue.
But tonight, she is one of the best teammates in the world. After the entire league has been after Caitlyn Clark for so long, and after tonight getting poked in the eye and body shoved by the Connecticut Sun, Sophie Cunningham had finally had enough and took it into her own hands.
Sheldon comes up with the steal. Sheldon goes coast to coast. And here we got another break this here as JC Sheldon.
The reality the league leadership needs to confront is stark. They've been gifted the most marketable, talented, and transformative player in the history of women's professional basketball, and they're squandering it through sheer incompetence. Clark's rookie season has been marred by constant targeting from veteran players, and instead of addressing it, the league has effectively enabled it. The statistics don't lie. When one player is absorbing 17% of all flagrant fouls committed in a league, that isn't coincidence, it's systematic targeting. And when officials consistently fail to address it appropriately, that becomes institutional negligence. The actions of Clark's teammate weren't reckless. They were a necessary response to a dangerous pattern. She did what the referees have failed to do for months. She sent a clear message that targeting Caitlyn Clark will have consequences.
The WNBA is not a vertical league. Their players can't jump over each other to score like the NBA. It's a horizontal chippy league. And you didn't watch the NBA for the last 10 to 12 years. It has always been physical and always been chippy. You get into a lot of collisions because there's no Ja Morant here. There's no Ant Edwards. They don't jump over. It's a horizontal physical league. And Caitlyn Clark now is like kerosene to the physicality flame. So you have physicality in this league, and now you get this flashy player, and they don't know how to officiate her. They don't know how to defend her.
What makes this protective teammate the perfect enforcer for Clark? Her absolute refusal to apologize or back down. After the ejection, she posted a photo of herself shrugging on social media, a clear message that she'd do it again in a heartbeat. When asked about the incident days later, she doubled down, stating, "At the end of the day, I'm going to protect my teammate. That's what I do, and I'm a team player." No regrets, no apologies, just a clear statement of intent. This is exactly what Caitlyn Clark needed, a teammate who won't just stand by passively while she gets targeted. For too long, Clark has had to absorb cheap shots alone. Now, she has someone willing to step in and send a message, consequences be DM'd.
I don't understand why this is all happening to Caitlyn Clark, who's brought so much attention to the league, frankly, revenue and viewership numbers. She single-handedly has made the broadcast rights go up, and I'm not saying she's the only one who did it. Yes, all of the women that came before her matter too, but the WNBA is doing better because Caitlyn Clark is in it now. It is one of the reasons they're doing better, and a rising tide lifts all boats. Everybody in the WNBA is better off.
The double standard in officiating is staggering. Clark gets called for technical fouls for showing the slightest emotion after getting hammered, yet players who commit actual flagrant fouls against her face minimal consequences. It's like the officials are operating under completely different rule books depending on who's involved. This isn't just bad officiating, it raises questions about fairness and integrity. Many are even suggesting the officiating makes the NFL officials look good. A truly wild statement given the criticism those officials face. The public sees it, the fans are vocal, and yet the pattern continues, frustrating players and viewers alike.
She has changed our game in the best possible way in every way. And so just to be alongside of her and maybe relieve the pressure, being able to shoot and spread the court for her to go do her thing. She's still young, and I think that I've been taken under, Diana took me under her wing, and I've learned a lot from her, and now I hope to kind of do the same for Caitlyn if she wants it. I just think the relationship piece is huge, and when you're trying to do something great, it takes everybody, and so I want her to go do her thing, and anything she needs from me, I'm going to be here. But again, I think that like just the competitor that I am, I'm fierce, I'm sassy, I stick up for my teammates, I stick up for myself.
The constant targeting of Clark isn't just affecting gameplay. It's a huge misstep by a league that stands to gain immensely from her presence. She's a money-printing machine for the organization, responsible for soaring viewership and a massive influx of new revenue. Yet, by allowing this aggressive, unchecked physicality, the league risks alienating the very audience she's brought in. Why would they jeopardize a golden goose by allowing her to be treated like a punching bag? It's a baffling strategy that prioritizes dated physical play over protecting the star who's ensuring their future. This isn't just about fouls, it's about safeguarding the league's most valuable investment.
Sophie Cunningham continues to be the WNBA's shining new star. She's Caitlyn Clark's sidekick at this point. Of course, Sophie Cunningham, man, what a meteoric rise. All it took was a little bit of rough justice on the court, sticking up for Caitlyn Clark after she was poked in the eye by J.C. Sheldon of the Connecticut Sun and then pushed to the ground by the Sun's Marina Mabry. Everybody got on board, and it was Sophie Cunningham mania happening around the country.
Let's not dance around this issue. WNBA referees have been
Caitlyn Clark isn't just a basketball player, she's a cultural phenomenon. Her impact extends far beyond the court, drawing in casual fans and even non-sports enthusiasts. But this widespread appeal puts a target on her back, making her susceptible to more than just physical play. It opens the door to narratives that attempt to diminish her impact or justify the relentless targeting. When the media focuses on altercations instead of her incredible performance, it further perpetuates the problem, forcing her to constantly defend herself instead of celebrating her achievements. This isn't just about a game. It's about a groundbreaking athlete trying to play her sport safely in a climate that seems determined to undermine her.
The officiating in this league makes the NFL officials look good. That is crazy that entire sentence just rolled out of my mouth. Because the NFL officials are so bad that a lot of people think the game is rigged or scripted. By the way, I've seen that about the WNBA as of late too. Like, are the officials trying to navigate games in certain directions? We got to remember, there's things like prop betting, and can we keep somebody? Hey, I put $2,000 over on Caitlyn Clark not being able to score 25 points tonight. The payoff on that is $10,000.
The league might not deserve Caitlyn Clark, but thankfully, Caitlyn Clark now has a steadfast ally. While the organization continues to fail in its basic responsibility to protect its most valuable asset, at least Clark knows she has a teammate who won't let her stand alone against the targeting and cheap shots. This protective teammate won't go down without a fight, and she will not stop defending Caitlyn Clark. That's exactly why fans love her, and it's exactly what the league's biggest star has been missing for far too long. The league may not have her back, but her teammate absolutely does. And honestly, when you have someone like this in your corner, someone willing to risk everything to protect you, you don't need the approval or protection of an organization that's proven it doesn't deserve you anyway.